Hey everybody, the Yankee GI here, back again for another video. Today I have an instructional video for you guys on, combat, kind of self-defense techniques. Today is going to be about defense and escape from chokeholds. And this is actually requested by a subscriber of mine, username Passion Strangler. I'm going to probably leave a picture of his username or whatever right there. So, basically he requested the video, and I'm going to, oblige that request. So, here we go. I'm going to basically give you guys some basic tips on how to escape and defend yourself from a chokehold. First off, we're going to start with a two-handed choke. That whole brute force, just two-handed chokehold to the front. So go ahead and give me a good choke. Now, first off, we're going to start simple. A lot of martial arts focus on pressure points, and there are two pressure points on the arm, and that's one of the basic pressure points when you start martial arts you learn. And that is good to cause pain and to bring them down. That is an option. The issue I find with pressure points is not necessarily the fact that they're not useful. They definitely are. If you have a Kubotan type device, maybe a tactical pen, you're able to get that in there. That's going to be excruciating pain. But with your thumbs, depending on your strength ability with your thumbs, maybe the muscle kind of shape of your opponent, that pressure point can change in location from person to person and may not be as easy to find as you may think. So go ahead and grab again. Now, obviously that can work. I've known my good friend here for a while, so I know where the pressure point is on him. But if I have against some big brute of a guy, it's going to be hard for me to find that pressure point, possibly not even be able to access it with just the mere strength of my thumbs. So there is the issue with that. Now, I'm going to show you something else which just primarily works on the joints and kind of your strength and a strike to the joints. Now, the fault of this is the strength of yourself and the strength of your opponent. If they are too strong, they may be able to, just completely resist. If you're not strong enough, they may be able to completely resist. So there is a fault to this. Just keep that in mind. Basically, what it is you're just, putting your hand in a chop kind of shape, and you go straight down on the joints. You're able to bring their arms off of your neck and then bring them down. At that point, their arm and their hands, those weapons, are down low, and you're able to continue in on whatever kind of, maybe a grapple, maybe a strike of some kind. So go ahead and grab me tougher. Again, in slow motion, not slow motion, but slower, just straight down on the joints, and it's able to release them. You're going to want to make sure to get right in that crook of the arm. So go ahead, full strength grab. Now he's going to be holding me with a full strength double-handed choke, and I'm going to illustrate it full speed for you guys. So you ready? Bang. So, as you can see at that point, literally all I did was just use my strength down on those joints, good, spear hand kind of deal there, chop down on those joints, and he brought it down, and I went in just for a shot to the neck. And a shot to the neck is very good, in my opinion. It is a strike that I do like. It's very soft. Everyone, that is a weakness. The neck is a vulnerable area. You can hit it hard and cause them to be incapacitated, possibly kill them if you do break that windpipe. So you just got to be careful with that. So that, of course, is a very kind of simple and obvious option to bring down their arms. And of course there is faults with it. So go ahead and grab again. Now another option, which is a little bit more complicated, not too much though, is you weave your hands in and you interlace them, and you're able to knock their hands out of the way. I'm going to come closer to you guys for a second, just so you guys can see much more clearly. Come closer. There we go. So, go ahead and choke me. Now I'm going to position his arms a little bit lower and staggered like this so you guys can see. But traditionally and normally you guys are going to have it like that. But make it easier for you to see. So here we go. What you're going to want to do is you take your right hand. You bring it, because I am right-handed, that's why we're doing it this way. For the left hand, you obviously just do it opposite side, kind of like that. Anyways, so with the right hand, you bring it over the arm on your right side, their left arm, and then you bring it up and around the arm on your left side, which is their right arm. Then you take your left hand, which is over here, it's free, interlace your fingers, and you clasp your hands together, and you're able to knock it out of the way. Go ahead and grab again. So when you knock it out of the way, what you're doing is you're lowering the elbow on this side with your lower part of your arm. You're able to kind of crook that down, and then on this side you are locking their arm, and then you, at the same motion, at the same time, you're able to make that work out for you. So here we go. We're going to do it one more time slowly so you guys can see. Right arm in, up, around, grab, bring the right side down, have the left side lock, and then there you go. You're able to release. Now we're going to back up a little bit, do this a little quicker to show you that it is effective. Go ahead and grab me full strength. Here we go. So, as you can see, it kind of is a little sloppy. His hand did hit me in the jaw. That is a risk that you may have to take, but you know, he isn't grabbing me anymore, and that is the plus. So now we're going to go into another kind of defense against it, so go ahead with the double choke. Now at this point, let's say that they're really strong and they're holding you up against the wall. These two options would work well if you can't really have a stable position, or even just in general, and you don't feel that your strength is going to be good to combat against theirs. Now, we all know that the ears are pretty sensitive, so it's fairly simple. You just cup your hands and then just clap them against their ears, and the pressure from that can blow out their eardrums. That's a very painful experience, which all you have to do is literally just bang to the sides of their head. They'll be in pain, and hopefully they'll let go of you. Now, another option is also very similar, a little more gruesome. So if you have a weak stomach, maybe you might not want to do this, and maybe you might not be able to mentally do this to someone, but it is an option. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your thumbs and just hook them and spear them into the eyes of the person, grabbing their head and just, you know, pushing into their eyes. At that point, you're just digging into their eyes. You can, you know, completely ruin their vision, or ruin their vision somewhat by doing this. But so again, only use this in a drastic situation. But it definitely is good if you do not have the strength. Grab again. If you do not have the strength to do anything with the arms, and say I did this and nothing's working because he's too strong. Say I did this and nothing's working because he's too strong and I'm too weak, or my arms are too short, or something like that. Just gouge into those eyes and just back. And then you got them where you want them. Even if they don't let go, they're in so much excruciating pain that you know, you're going to probably last longer than they are. A simple choke versus thumbs gouging into their eyes, it's a little different. So now we're going to get into another part of it. That was the two-handed choke. Now we're going to get into the just kind of more traditional chokehold, you know, kind of like sleeper hold. Let me first lower the camera a little bit so you guys can see. So now we're going to do a more kind of traditional and classic sleeper hold kind of style of a choke, in a little bit more of a submissive position. We'll get to more positions later. But so at this point I am at the disadvantage because I am bending over. As you can see, he has greater control over me. Now there is a solution to this. Now if you are able to detach his hand from grabbing his, you know, arm and holding on to this, you're able to come around and you're able to lock that arm and keep that control. But the thing is, if let's say you're not strong enough, you don't know how, for some reason you blank and you don't remember how to do that, what you want to do is you have a couple of options, you know, available to you. And of course, trying to release his hand of his other hand, you know, pressure points, some sort of, you know, pressure point kind of system, some sort of strike, or pulling at the hand. But if that does not work, you need more, right? So of course, a little bit more of an inhonorable way of doing it, but still effective, is the groin shot. You hit there, of course, we all know what that pain is like. That is horrible pain, and they're going to let go of you. But let's say that their leg is in a position in which you are not able to access that. Let's say, see, I'm trying to get to his groin, but his thigh is in the way. So unfortunately, I cannot go for the knee to the groin. And that, of course, may, you know, make you think, what is there left to do? Now, if they are bending over in this position and that their head is more available to you, you're able to take your elbow up and smash their head with your elbow. You could possibly knock them out depending on how the strike goes. But let's say that they're straight up more, you can try and do the elbow to the under the chin. The thing about this, if let's say you're not flexible enough, or you miss and you're not able to do it, or let's just say they're just too tall for you to be able to access their chin with your elbow, what you can do is take your right hand, which is the free hand in this position that I am in right now, and come up, grab their neck. And so what we're going to do is turn around. As you can see, I'm grabbing in there, and I'm just able to pull and just cause him pain, grabbing that Adam's apple, possibly ripping it out if I need to. So let's give you guys a closer look of that. So, of course, he's going to have me in that choked position, and then I'm going to turn him towards you a little bit so you can see better. Now, you have that arm, you just come up, bang, you're able to grab, get your thumb behind, and you can actually kind of grab behind the Adam's apple. If you want, you can pull it out, or you can just keep on going until they release. So, that is a very kind of simple and a couple of options that you have to you if you are in a more submissive position like that. Now let's move on to the next step, which would be if they are positioned the other way. So basically same idea. You're bent over. You don't have as much power and control of the situation as you may like, but it's very simple. Let's say you can't get those arms released. They're too strong. You can't do anything like that, right? Of course, there is always the possibility of doing that, and then you have control of the situation. But let's ignore that idea right now. You can't get out. They're too strong. Of course, you can go again for that knee to the groin, but the thing about that, let's again say that their legs are in a position in which you cannot do that. I am hitting his thigh right now. So in that situation, what you can always do is you bring your hand up, around, grab into the eye socket, and just claw at their eye, and just grab in their eye socket, and then drag them down. So, of course, that is, another one of those gruesome kind of moves. You grab around, and then you're able to dig just in their face, grabbing onto whatever hole you can find, and they're just causing pain as well as controlling them. Again, it's going to be gushy because that is going to be their eye and your fingers, and again, drastic, possibly ruining their vision. So that is basically it for the kind of just bending over, and I'm going to move on to more of a from behind chokehold here. So go ahead and grab, give me in a sleeper hold kind of position, or just even just a chokehold. Now here they have a pressure point on the arm, right? We talked about that earlier. We're going to move a little closer to the camera here. Talked about that earlier, right there in the crook of the elbow. You can hit that, and you can try and cause them pain, but of course that may not always work. You could try to do the elbow, but depending on how big the assailant is compared to you, you may not be able to get around. They may be able to just dodge it or even just take it. So of course you can try and hit them with the back of your head, and that may or may not work depending on how much control they have of you and if they're distracted. Now, honestly, it is hard to get out of a position like this. Personally, I've been sparring with someone and choking them, and they've tried to throw me, and then I just hung on, and then they ended up landing on top of me, but I was still able to hold onto that choke. At this point, the best solution is just to get down and throw them over you. Now, you can let go. Now that honestly the chokehold from behind, there isn't much you could do. You can try and step on their foot, see what happens there. You can try and kick up with your heel, hit them in the groin. In a sleeper hold, it is really kind of difficult in a real life situation in order to get out of it. So unfortunately, I don't really have much advice at that point. I mean, what I was taught and what I know is to hit that pressure point, possibly get it enough control of the situation in order to get your hips under them and throw them over you. But of course, they can still hang on. So I moved the camera a little bit just to kind of give you guys an example of throwing the person over your shoulder during that chokehold from behind. So go ahead and give me that chokehold there. As you can see, at this point, you're going to be pretty, kind of incapacitated at this point. What you first want to do is, if you are aware that they're about to choke you, you tuck your chin in so that way they can't, actually choke your throat. You're able to get that, in between and have a little bit, more resistance to them. But let's say you don't and you have a limited amount of time at that point. What you want to do, of course, try that pressure point. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you got to get down, get your hips into the person, and be able to throw them. So, are you ready? All right, I'm going to show you basically how that works in a second. Try and move away from the stones on the ground here. All right, so he's got me in a chokehold. What I want to do is drop down, and of course, just position over, and then bring him down. You good?
Yep.
All right. So, as you can see, it's fairly simple. You just got to get in, hips over, and bring them over. So that's basically it. As always, I'm the Yankee GI. Thanks for watching the video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them in that comment section below. And as always, I'm the Yankee GI. Have a nice day.